Hi. Hello. I've wanted to make this video for a while, and this is why I dislike the Genshin Impact fandom Part 2. This video is going to be in parts. A lot of the things in these parts could be whole videos, or could be separate parts of their own, but I'm trying to keep this brief, as all my videos are. As one of the biggest mobile games, and games in general, because it goes across multiple platforms, Genshin Impact has a very large impact. The actions of the community, they can be very devastating to people, to companies, to whoever is in the wake of these actions. And a lot of times these actions are very negative, and that has to do with the fact that the fan base in general seems to be very negative, and that is probably because this fan base encompasses anime fans, gacha fans, RPG fans, and the mix of these three things is not good. Each of these categories finds problems with certain things, whether it be anime fans finding... Sorry, I had a moment where I was like, the problems anime fans find with things are so inconsequential. And then we have RPG fans, which I know nothing about them. Or no, wait, I do. Because they'll find problems with metas and kits and whatever the fuck those are. I don't know shit about that. I just know character hit, big number pop up. And then we have gacha fans, which I kinda am a part of that. And I understand bits and pieces. And there's also the element of gambling and such that goes in there. So we have these very big categories where there's very big issues, and the idea of the game is amazing in essence because it reaches all these categories. But the idea of the fans of these three categories coming together, liking a game, it's impossible to appease everyone in these three categories. Like, it's literally impossible. There's such a different mentality. There's a different level of understanding of these different topics, whether it be anime fans not understanding gacha, or gacha fans not understanding RPG, or like these things not meshing in the same type of way. And it leads to a toxic, just really toxic environment. Huge dedicated fan bases can be used for good, but as we've seen with a lot of huge dedicated fan bases, usually by big YouTubers, people tend to not use their fan bases for good if they are large and dedicated. Usually they're either used for nothing and they turn very toxic very quickly, or people just use them for money. It's sad. It's very fucking sad. The Genshin fandom is no outlier to this. Fans of Genshin Impact, the Genshin Impact fandom is becoming one of the most toxic at the moment, and it's only a year old. It's literally a year old. We're gonna start off with probably the worst part of the fandom. There's the circumstance of Honey Impact, who got rightfully taken down or something by Genshin Impact because they were posting leaks, and then they put a racist message at the bottom of their website. There's that streamer that says horribly racist things because of a ka-ching build. There's also a lot of TikTok comments that are just blatantly racist. I'm just speechless that people will say these things, and then there's also a group of this community that doesn't blink an eye when these things are said. Like the people who are still gonna use Honey Impact, or still used it, I don't know what the fuck happened with it, and the people who still support that streamer, and the people who see these comments and still agree with these comments, even with the blatant racism and the, like, what is wrong with you? This part is going to be split into two. We have voice actors and we have YouTube content creators. I'm not gonna go over all these circumstances of YouTube content creators, because if I did, this video would be hours and hours and hours, because y'all treat YouTube content creators horribly. When it comes to VAs, I already made a whole video on the VAs. That was last time. And there's still been more circumstances since then. We have Kikomi's VA getting harassed, and then we have Zach Aguilar, who said something after the last live stream about how people were being shitty, and then we have Deluxe VA saying how there's a reason why the VAs don't like interacting with the community, and I completely get it, since Deluxe VA almost got canceled over retweeting art. There's gonna be so many circumstances where I'm saying this stuff and I just have to pause, because it takes me a second. It takes me a second to just go over, to like remember these things and remember that they happened, and I'll never understand the mindset of the people who do these things and they're like, this is a logical thing to do, a completely righteous thing to do. I'll never understand this mindset. And with that, I'm moving on to the content creators, the YouTubers, because we have a couple circumstances I want to talk about, and the first one is Tectone, because I will never go back on saying y'all treat Tectone like a piece of shit, and it's like not okay. It is not okay. No matter what you think of Tectone, no matter what I think of Tectone, the way you treat this dude is fucked up. Like, I laugh because it's just so, like, unbelievable to me. First off, there's call out threads where literally one tweet will say something and the next tweet will completely contradict it, and yet people will agree with it throughout the thread. People will take thumbnails and assume what happens in the video completely agrees with the thumbnail, and it's like, do y'all not understand what clickbait is? And I'm gonna be honest, I see so many people say how mental health is so important and we need to support people, and then you attack creators over and over and over again, and it's like, do you not think that can affect people? Next, I'm going to talk about Atsu, because he made a thread around the time of the Genshin anniversary about content creating, and it blew up in a very negative way. And while I don't particularly like the way that the thread was worded at first, I think it came from a very negative place. I don't think the way that people reacted to it was right in any way, shape, or form. I think people took certain parts of it and read into it the way that they wanted to and made it out to be something it was not. The message he had was there. Probably not the right messenger, and probably not said in the right way. But the fact that, too, he made a thread explaining himself, and while I still think that was not the best worded, but even that, people did not read that and listen while he explained himself. It's like, y'all just want to hold these content creators to such a high standard that, like, no one can meet it. Activity, this fandom, this community perpetuates is bad. Even things that are meant to be positive turn so negative. It's very toxic. I don't get why people do that. I genuinely don't get why people instantly go to negativity. What are you going through that makes you go straight to negativity? This last part is about specific circumstances I wanted to talk about before, but I never got to talk about, so we're gonna talk about them right now. The first one is about the review bombing in the App Store. I should say I'm floored, but I'm not floored. Do I think that review bombing, specifically Genshin, is that problematic? I don't care. When it goes to other games, though, when it goes to other games that are just caught in the crossfire, like Tears of Thamus, I don't know if I said Thamus right still, Honkai Impact, all the other fucking games that they review bombed. How is review bombing a game that has nothing to do with Genshin Impact going to help Genshin Impact in any way, shape, or form? I get that Genshin Impact, it was censoring people, about the whole thing, but how is review bombing, a completely different game that has no relation to Genshin Impact, going to help this? All it's gonna do is make the community look bad and make us look stupid, so our voices aren't heard. Next, I want to move on to the circumstances where people are getting scammed for selling their accounts. Now I'm not going to talk about people selling their accounts and that being against terms of service, because I'm going to talk about people's reactions to that, because the rudeness and just like lack of like treating people like shit because of that. Like, there's one circumstance where it was a minor who sold their account and got scammed out of their account, and people in the quote retweets and comments were like, oh my god, you're so stupid, why would you do that? So many people do that. So many people sell their account and trade their account, and you're calling a minor stupid for doing what's done on Twitter a lot. The fact that it's against terms of service is not in the same realm as someone getting scammed. Anyone can get scammed, and that is wrong. It's not like MiHoYo is the one going in and being like, oh, that's wrong for you to do. Then it would be like, okay, that's valid to say you asked for getting punishment for it. It's not the same to be like, okay, you should have got scammed, you should have got this bad result, so saying someone deserved it, it's like saying someone deserved to get their car fucking robbed because they stole something from the store. The last thing I really want to talk about is something that's kind of personal to me, and maybe I'll talk about it more in depth on my other channel. There's these really entitled types of tweets where people who don't have an issue with pulling for characters are tweeting, if you feel so badly about not getting a character that you get depressed, just step away from the computer, go outside, talk to people. The way these tweets piss me off. Because do you think if someone could just step away, could just take a breather, could just like talk to someone, that they wouldn't do it? And someone who doesn't have an issue shouldn't be speaking like this to them. And the fact that these tweets do not actually get these people help in any way, shape, or form, it just makes people feel like shit. And there's a bunch of quote retweets being like, oh my god, I can't believe people do this. Oh my god, that's so weird. And it's like, this is not helping people who go through this. This is not doing anything positive. It's just making people who go through this feel like shit. Unless you have an issue with this type of thing, you don't understand how hard it is to step away. Like, you don't understand until you have an issue, until you feel that type of thing. And the way it's worded is so like, oh my god. It's like degrading, but in a weird, twisted way where it's like, it sounds almost like positive, but it's like not. It's definitely not. And you could tell how much that person just wanted retweet. And you know what? You got him. But you look like a piece of shit. At least to me. And probably the people who have an issue don't realize that. They just feel shitty themselves. And that's sad. These people probably do have something going on and do need to find a coping mechanism for it. This type of tweet that just causes people to quote retweet it and act like it's something so foreign and so weird. Have fun with your retweets. The only part of this fandom that I genuinely enjoy anymore are the people who come to these videos, because I feel like if you are on this video, on my channel, you have some semblance of common sense. That sounds very egotistical, I'm sorry. I'll see you next time. I hope you have an amazing week. I hope you have a good time. Bye.